Have you ever stopped to consider if you, yes you, might be contributing to the problem of racism? Racism, a term often associated with overt acts of discrimination and hate speech, carries a much subtler, yet equally damaging form. It's not always about the explicit, the clear-cut, or the blatant. It can be as simple as a microaggression, a passing comment, or an unconscious bias that we might not even be aware of. It's the unspoken stereotype you might hold about a certain race, or that subtle hesitation when you encounter someone of a different ethnicity. Racism isn't confined to the realms of active discrimination or hate speech. It seeps into our everyday behaviors, our attitudes, even our casual conversations. It's the small snide remark, the joke that's just a little too on the nose, the assumptions made about someone based on their skin color. Racism is not always about the blatant acts of hatred, but often it lies in the subtle undertones of our daily interactions. Understanding these terms is the first step towards self-awareness. Let's dive in. Prejudice is a preconceived notion about someone based not on their individual characteristics, but on their membership to a certain group. It's like judging a book by its cover, without ever turning a page. Hatred, on the other hand, is an intense dislike or ill will towards someone, often fueled by fear or misunderstanding. It's like a wildfire. It destroys everything in its path and leaves nothing but ashes. Ethnocentrism is the belief that one's own culture or ethnicity is superior to others. It's like gazing at the world through a narrow slit, limiting your perspective and understanding. These factors, often internalized, can contribute to the development of racist behaviors and attitudes. They are like seeds planted in the soil of our minds, growing unnoticed until they bear the bitter fruits of discrimination. Only by recognizing these behaviors in ourselves can we begin to change. Now, the real question is, how do we recognize if we are racist? It's a question that may make us feel uncomfortable, but it's an essential one to ask ourselves. We must look inward, and this requires brutal honesty. One of the most common signs of racism is an unconscious bias. This bias surfaces when we make decisions based on race without even realizing it. It's when we favor one race over another in situations where race should be irrelevant. Another sign is the use of stereotypes. We all know them, and they're often spread through media and social circles. If we find ourselves judging people based on these stereotypes, it's a clear indication of racist behavior. Lastly, the tendency to make assumptions based on race. This is when we predict someone's behavior or characteristics merely based on their racial identity. These are but a few signs, and recognizing them in ourselves can be a tough pill to swallow. Remember, admitting that we have a problem is the first step towards solving it. So, you've recognized some problematic behaviors in yourself. What next? Now comes the crucial part, change. The first step towards change is education. Seek knowledge about different cultures, histories, and experiences. Understand that your perspective is not the only one, and that diversity enriches us all. Next up, empathy. Put yourself in the shoes of others. Imagine how it feels to face prejudice or discrimination based on your race. This exercise can help you realize the pain caused by racism, thereby making you less likely to perpetuate it. Additionally, expose yourself to different cultures. Attend cultural events, read books from diverse authors, watch films that challenge your worldview. This exposure can help you appreciate the beauty of our diverse world. But remember, recognizing your biases isn't enough. Actively challenge them and call out racism when you see it. Stand up for what's right, even when it's uncomfortable. Change starts within us. Let's make a conscious effort to eradicate racism, one thought, one word, one action at a time.